Welcome back, everyone, to our Let's Play series of Motorsport Manager. So we've got a nice string of great finishes in podium positions here recently, including even one victory for us. In the team standings, we're now sitting third, and we have a nice lead over fourth place, and a nice 10-point lead there. But one of the things that is handicapping us right now, and this was done on purpose, is that we are essentially a one-car team. Our second car is in no danger of getting us any points, and that's something that the top two cars do have. They have second place or second cars that can earn them some amount of points, and that's always helpful. The reason I'm not terribly worried about that right now is because we're still in the building stage. I'm not hunting down this championship just yet. I'm hunting down performance. And then once we get the performance we need, we'll throw some good drivers in the second car, and we'll go try to win a championship. So that day is coming, and I know it can be frustrating sometimes to look up there and see our second place car that is just not doing anything. But it's all part of the process I decided to go with for this particular playthrough. All right, we did have the one mistake, and it turned out to be a big one because it cost us the lead at the time, and who knows what might have happened had we not had that mistake. All right, so we've got, listening to offers. So we got Frankie can't stand it anymore. He hates driving for this team, so if an offer comes in, he'll consider it. All right, well, that's the way it is. I mean, if we lose him, then we'll go find another driver to put in. He's actually the worst of the three drivers we have on car number 2, but he also, I believe, gives us the absolute best bottom line of the three if you look at the difference between what his sponsor payout is versus how much we pay him. So I would hate to lose him from that perspective, but if he leaves, then so be it. Let's do our mandatory, identical, useless interview that we have to do every time. So, I mean, you can see there's some morale issues on car number 2, but again, I'm not going to worry about that. If they decide to leave, then so be it. All right, let's take a quick look at the pit crew, and let's swap out those that are fatigued. All right, take a quick look at everybody's stamina, and looks perfect. All right, that's what I want to see. Now, unfortunately, the AI doesn't seem to be all that intelligent about where it puts people, which is unfortunate. Because if you'll notice, the two guys that it put up front are the two guys it should have put in the rear for the refueling. So let's just swap these things out. All right. I like that. And let's see, what else do we have? We'll look and see who the new pit crew members available are. And trying to look and see, all right, 83, 80, okay. I was looking because I don't particularly like that 3 up there, but it's not the end of the world. All right, let's see who is available. The 0.1, not that that's a whole lot, but it's still there. Okay, I like this. The 11 on the tires, 10 on fixing when that's applicable. That's good. All right, let's go ahead and pick that one up. Okay, and what do? But they immediately put them in, in for the rear jack. Wow. Okay, well, let's not do that. Let's put him on one of the front tires, actually. And then we'll move, let's see, this is the rear jack. And yeah, there are much better options here. Okay, so we'll swap him out there. And then just take a quick glance. Is there anybody I can put in here? Well, this guy would be really good, but we're going to give him the rest. And we're going to try to keep it at everybody full strength here. That'll give us the best shot, I think. Okay, but not bad at all. And at some point, we'll start swapping out some of these guys for better. Let's see. Let's go ahead and reject. That'll leave us one person out there. That's not bad. It's sort of middle of the road right now for what we're looking for. not good enough that I want to jump out there and hire them. Okay, let's go ahead and move things forward for our car repair. And now we're back to working on these parts. All right, so it is interesting while I've got it on my mind. So we're at 88, 90, and 90 for these spec parts. And that wasn't even enough for this last race. Now going forward, this next race is going to be about top speed, acceleration, and deceleration. So that is right in our wheelhouse. The top speed, of course, is going to be even across all of the cars, but the acceleration and deceleration are strong points for us. So this is where we're going to really look to apply some pressure and fight for that victory. That's my plan. All right, so for right now, I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and put, this will make it a little easier to see. Let's go ahead and put these three in there. And you can see it's not going to take very long for these to get everything worked out. But we might as well just go ahead and get them up to 100 and just not even deal with it anymore. And then we'll get right back to working on those performance issues. All right, in fact, there's our message saying that that work will be done. But let's see if we can't get it to all these things to 100 and not have to worry about that anymore. Okay, looks like about 4 more days until we're done with our new part. Okay, so all the staff allocated back over. Let's take a quick glimpse. All right, I like where we are here. So very close to being maxed out. Okay, not bad. Not bad at all. Of course, the 2 brake packages we're currently working on are not going to be used this season. Same thing with that gearbox that's being worked on. One of them anyway. The other one is about to be completed in a few days. And then same thing with the suspension. It is for next year. All right, there we go. So a couple of new email messages. Oh, they're looking at bringing the front wings back available for development. Not really interested in that. I kind of like to keep it where it is. All right, suspension build is completed. And that's what I was referring to a little second ago. I think I actually said it about the gearbox, but that should have been about the suspension, though. Okay, so we are very close at this point to having these things done. Let's see if there's anything I can reasonably get rid of. Not really. So it's going to take a little bit, and we're going to get as close as we can to full strength with this suspension that we're not going to develop any new parts. We're going to keep the remainder of the money we have, and then use that toward HQ buildings at the end of the season. Okay, yeah, we'll hop onto this as soon as we can, but it's still going to take a little bit before we get to that point. All right, here we go. It's time for the new vote, and I am going to vote against it. Let's go ahead and just put 2 on there. Oh, and it is approved. All right, so I guess I could have tied it, and then the commissioner or whatever we call him in the game would have to been the deciding vote, but it's approved. So now that tells us what is going to be going on next season. All right. Well, I think we're okay in that department anyway. Let's see. Yeah, the nose, we're at 15 there, so that's not bad. We're not bad at all. Okay, about time for race number 8 on the season. Let's check some emails. All right, we got some feedback. The factory, see if there's any money in the budget to upgrade the factory. Not that kind of money. Not that kind of money. All right, let's get a quick check on where we are with our new parts. And yeah, we're getting very close. You can see this one is all but done. And then the rest of these are very close, with the latest edition being the furthest away. Okay, so we'll look at finishing those up after this race, and then adding that last part to it. Okay, once again, we'll go 4th or above and be looking at a very good race if we can obtain that full bonus. Okay. There we go. Got our tires all set, and I don't think there's any parts to swap out. Let's take a quick glance just to make sure. And no, there are not. We're all set on that angle. So let's head to Beijing. All right, practice and qualifying unfortunately did not go as planned. I thought we were going to be really strong in qualifying, then of course really strong in the race. We were not strong in qualifying. In fact, we did not get into the top 4. We ended up, I believe, 5th. But yeah, it was not at all what I was expecting in qualifying. Now, there was some weather to deal with there, but overall, I was very disappointed. So we'll have our level 2 this time, race trim and tire bonuses, so that'll be good. Hopefully some of those other cars that were a good bit faster than us in qualifying were simply using qualifying bonuses. Now, the interesting thing comes with the tire compound. This is quite a bit more fuel than I was expecting. I was expecting to have less fuel and then use the medium tires, but this amount of fuel is well beyond the medium tire. So we're going to have to see. It's going to be very hard on tires here. So I'm going to go ahead and go with the hard tire, and then we'll just sort of work from there and see how it goes in that first stint. We're going to go ahead and push in this first stint. In fact, let's go ahead and push with both. Normally I only push with car number 1, mostly because it's what I'm focused on at the beginning, but let's go ahead and give them both an opportunity to push. Let's get that off of the screen. You can see me. We're right there, 5th and 6th, but still, that is not where I wanted to be. I wanted to be in the top 2 for sure in qualifying. All right, so we got some work to do here in the race. You can see everybody's on the hard tire with one exception. So we'll see how the tire wear goes. We'll see how the tire heat goes. And this should be interesting as we get started. All right, so far so good. We're up to 3rd. And the tire heat's really not coming in very quickly. You can see it's slowly creeping up there, but it is not fast at all about moving. All right, so we're going to go ahead and stick with pushing right now. Oh, there we go. Drive-through penalty, so already we are derailed. Oh, that is not what we were looking for. Man. Boy, it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much to derail you. All right, so our job now is just to basically go as hard as we can. Tire heat does not look like it's going to be an issue, so we're just going to have to press and get the best finish out of this. We need to get into the top. All right, here we go. We've got some weather coming in. And how long do we stay out there on these tires? I tell you what, to keep this from being too much of an issue, I'm going to go ahead and get these guys in and onto the enters. Okay, no sense putting any more fuel in because there's only so long that ham is going to last. And plus, this will get them out of the way for our next pit stop, which of course will be car number 1. All right, so we're pushing hard with, okay, can we please focus? There we go, ignore that for now. All right, please just focus on the car I want you to. There we go. So now let's come in, let's put on the inters and our pit strategy. Do we put in fuel? I don't think so, because I think we're actually going to be back in to put on... it looks like we might be in to put on full wets at some point. So we're just going to make a quick pit stop for tires, and then we're going to go right back at it. So we'll keep an eye out for this weather and see if we want to change on to full wets at some point. But for right now, we're just going to try to make the best of this thing and really go as hard as we can to try to make up that ground. If we can't get to the top 4, then we'll take a huge hit. So right now you can see we are leading currently. Now the guys who put on full wet should be very slow right now. Very slow. I've done that in the past and was indeed very slow. Alright, so for the time being, the inters are definitely the way to go, and you can see the guys on full wets are dropping back. Alright, so now Sophia is in horrendous form right now. 1.4 is terrible. So she does not have the speed. Luckily for us right now, we are doing great with car number 2. How long that will last, I don't know, but look at that. Her form continues to go down. Oh, that is horrible. I mean, we got to do better than that. All right, let's continue to see. At some point, we'll want to change onto full wets. And there we go. Let's go ahead and do that. We might as well take some chances here. We might as well. Yeah, I mean, you can see we're definitely getting to that area where this is going to be a big deal. Still plenty of fuel. No, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to add any at all. Okay, and then there we go. So next time around, we'll go ahead and queue up. Looks like we need to queue up a driver change. Yikes, that is not good because we are only, we're not even 30 minutes in here. All right, but so be it. Let's go ahead, full wets, and we'll go ahead and fill them up just to break this apart a little bit. All right, pit stop. Need everything to go well. Okay, and it does. So we're back off and running with car number 1. And we're continuing to push hard. Okay, yeah, we're definitely in full wets territory right now. Unfortunately, our driver form for Sophia is terrible. I mean, this is really bad. She's down at a 0 right now. Okay, let's go ahead and calm her down a little bit here. Okay, so we're not looking all that bad right now. Let's go ahead and I tell you what, let's not push. We need this stint to be longer for car number 2. All right, so we're in 3rd. So far, so good. Again, without that drive-through, we'd be in great shape. But even dealing with that, we'll keep an eye on this weather, and then as soon as this weather gives us the indication, we will change back onto inters, since that appears to be where it is headed, and we'll try to time that up with our driver stop, which you can see is going to be very soon because Sophia is dropping stamina very quickly. But we're going to try to hang in there until we can change onto those inters at the same time. So that might mean going a little bit longer into the red on her stamina than we would prefer. But at this point, we just kind of don't have a good option other than that. Okay, her fuel is looking perfectly fine when compared to everything else. I don't want her to push because that would drain stamina even quicker. All right, everybody in the field is now on full wets. Okay, she's actually starting to gain back a little form. It went from 0 to 0.9, so we'll take everything we can get. All right, if she can hang in there just a little bit longer, then we can come in and put back on the inters. All right, yeah, there we go. In fact, yep, she's starting to make mistakes now. All right, so we got to bring her in next time. All right, we will put Lee in there. And tire choice. Let's go back to enters. Fuel. 53. You guys can probably hear the telephone. I am expecting a phone call, so unfortunately I can't move it out of the way like I generally try to do. Alright, fuel options, driver swap. Okay, so overall, Sophia just not looking good in this particular race, but there's still time. We're not in terrible shape right now. Alright, so she comes in. Let's get her out of there. Can't get her out of there quick enough, quite frankly. She has not done well as the #1 driver overall, I don't think, if you're going by driver form. So now let's go ahead and let's push. Okay, we'll pit now and put in, let's see. Yeah, let's go ahead and pit just so we can let some regen happen. Okay, so we'll go on to enters, fuel options. Actually, that should be perfectly fine on the fuel. Let's go ahead and fill it up just in case. Okay. All right, so we're the first ones to come in and put those enters on. Of course, we really didn't have a choice, but now I think they're really into the area where they're going to start to come into their own and be the fastest thing out there. But the key, of course, is going to be how much time are we giving up with the issues we've had with our driver on the first stint. And doesn't look good right now. So this race could definitely have gone better for us, even though I think our strategy's been pretty good, as evidenced by the fact that car number 2 is actually ahead of car number 1 right now. Oops. Let's go back to conserve and see if we can't bring down the heat on these tires. And sure enough, you can see it. Visually, you can see it dropping very quickly. Okay, and let's stick with neutral while we're continuing to press hard. All right, so now after everybody has come in for enters, we find ourselves in a good spot, and I think our tires are going to be plenty good enough to last until we get down to the dry weather. Of course, the question always remains, what's going to happen beyond what you can currently see? There we go. Let's come back down. Now we're ready to push a little bit more now. All right, so hard to believe, but car number 2 is currently ahead of car number 1. Hey, I'll take it. I'll take it. These guys, if they can get a great run, then I am all for it. They are right there together, though, and the real good news is that we have a nice little cushion over 4th place. All right, let's go ahead and calm down a little bit there. In fact, let's go ahead and ramp it up a little bit here. Now, granted, we're going to have to make a pit stop here before too long for car number 2. And looks like we're going to be good to put dry weather tires on when that happens. Yeah, I think we're going to be in good shape to do just that. Now we're gonna make these enters last as long as we can on car 2. But yeah, we're definitely into a range where the dry weather tires are going to come back in. Looking for any grip that's coming back into the track. Doesn't look like there's going to be any for the foreseeable future. Okay, let's go ahead. It's time for that pit stop. And we'll put in, you can see Mike has not had time to fully recover, so we're making pit stops left and right here. unfortunately. Let's go ahead and put the medium tires on at this point. And fuel, do we want to fill it up? No, we do not. Let's go ahead. Let's give it about 38. Yeah, because that would line up pretty good with the tire. And we know we're not going to get to the end, so that is not going to be an issue. Okay, pitch strategy. Everything looks good. All right, let's get in there and take those tires. Okay, let's go back to the car that's moving. Okay, last lap here. We're going to come in probably this next time by. Yeah, there we go. So we're using up all of these tires that we can. We'll come in this next time by, and we'll put on, let's see. We're not going to be able to do a two-stop strategy. That's not going to happen. I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and just put the soft tires on. And let's try to make up a little bit of time if we can. So these aren't going to last very long, but they should last long enough to coincide with the stamina he has remaining. Then we'll try to put Petra in the car for the remainder of the time. Let's see, how much? 22 to 24. Yeah, that'll line up perfectly. And of course, that'll put us well within the range of Petra finishing this thing off, hopefully on some medium tires. Okay, all the parts look good. All right, here we go. Dry tires. Okay, no mistakes in the pits. And of course, we didn't fill it up with a whole bunch of fuel, so we got in and out pretty quick. Okay, it's going to drop us down the standings a little bit, but I think we're going to make up a lot of ground very quickly, and you can see everybody is coming into the pits. They want those fresh tires. So we're going to make hay while the sun is shining, as they say. Okay, let's back off a little bit. So I'm not going to worry too much about how long these tires last, because we're going to need to swap out drivers due to stamina issues at some point. Our main focus here is it was too early to swap on to another driver, realistically, so I wanted to get as much speed out of the car as I could. And I think we're going to be able to do just that. And then by the time we put Petra back in there, oh, it looks like we got some more weather coming. Wow, this is fun. This is when this thing really gets fun. You got weather all over the place, strategies all over the place. All right, so I'm going to try to take care of the tire a little bit. But yeah, it's going to be time to go back to the inters, it looks like, especially if things continue as they appear to be forecasting. Okay, you can see the tire is definitely wearing down, but that is perfectly fine. Stamina is almost gone. But again, I'm trying to make it last just a little bit longer so that we can go on to those inters. All right, and yes, I'm well aware that he is running out of stamina. All right, yes, I know you're not going to be able to keep up that pace much longer. I'm aware of all of these things. All right, so we're going to have to take a hit here momentarily, and we're going to get onto those inters a little bit early. Man, I hate to do that, but we've really got no choice at this point. All right. Yeah, as much as I hate to do this, really got no real choice in the matter. All right, let's go ahead and let's put the inters on, and let's fill it up with fuel. Actually, I don't think we're going to need that much fuel. Okay, we'll go with it, and at the end of it, we'll actually just crank up the engine mode. if we need to. So tire choice is enters. There we go. Driver swap is done. So as the rain starts to fall, we're going to be a little bit early. So we're going to pay the penalty here for coming in this quickly. The good news is we had a good pit stop. But we're going to have to pay for this. Okay, let's go ahead and make our second pit stop, in which we're going to put enters on. There we go. All right, so we are going to be slow right now on enters. Let's see. Yeah, we need to push a little bit. Okay, let's crank up just a little bit. Yeah, our engine conditions should be perfectly fine to take this. All right, so as you can see, we're definitely early on taking on those tires, but not much we could do about that. Okay, good news is car number 2 is still ahead of car number 1. Okay, let's calm down on the tires a little bit, but now, yeah, now we're in the area where those enters are going to start paying for themselves. The question is, have we already damaged the tires and lost too much time by this point? We'll have to see. Alright, let's see. Can we make it to the end on these tires? That is going to be the question. Okay, everything looking good on car 2. We're going to try. Okay, let's calm down on the fuel just a little bit. I don't want to get it too terribly low. Okay, we got about 30 minutes left in the race. We're setting first and third. Okay, let's see what the weather looks like. Okay, so it's just going to continue to get wetter and wetter as time goes. So now the question for us is going to be, can these tires last all the way to the end? And that's going to be a very good question. We need to make sure we get one of our 2 teams at least on the podium. Granted, at least 4th would be good for the sponsor money, but I'm thinking we should be on the podium, at least one of our drivers. Okay, so I'm trying to take it pretty easy on these tires right now. 22 minutes remaining. Okay, let's go back to neutral. We've got to make these things last. Okay, 10 seconds out of the lead, but that's not the most pressing thing right now. It is how far are we out of 4th? What kind of range do we have there? Okay, we got a retirement. Wow. That's huge in the lead. So now we inherit 1st and 2nd. Man, that is huge. Okay, let's go ahead and press a little bit. Wow, we are in great shape here. Okay, you notice I'm still on car number 1 right now because my goal here is to have car number 1 actually catch car number 2. Let's make a race out of this. Okay, running low on tire, but I think we're actually going to be fine on tire. We've only got 10 minutes left, and we're looking in great shape. Of course, those behind us aren't in a whole lot better shape than we are. Okay, so we are not pressing right now on the tire. You can see those behind us are really coming. They are trying to catch us desperately. 6 minutes left, and I'm going to use every bit of these tires in order to try to keep our 1st and 2nd place positions. And what order they finish in, can be determined by the on-the-track action. All right, yep, we're looking great now. We're looking great. Let's come back off of that. So we're going to run those tires right down, but I think we're going to end up in great shape. This, I never would have dreamed this, particularly with how bad our race started. To think that we would be in this position with both cars. Nope, never ever would have been able to determine this. So as we come to the flag, wow. That is, how could you ever dream this? So that is huge. We get a 1-2 finish, and it's not even in the order that you would think. We end up with the 1-2 finish with car number 2, bringing home the victory. I am extremely happy with that. We ended up making 5 stops, but we had the speed to get it done. We made the 5 stops in more or less the right time. We made them a little early on that final stop, earlier than I wanted to. I would have preferred to wait probably about 3 more laps before the first car pitted, but wow. Everything worked out wonderfully, and we will take it. So we bring home the 1-2 finish, and that is a lot of points. That'll go a long way toward making up a point deficit. So we'll bring home a total of 18 points. Can't do any better than that during the race. And let's see what that does. Look at there, the driver championship standings. That thrusts us into the lead and puts us in 2nd place in the team standings. Now we're coming up on the final race of the year, and keep in mind, it is worth double points. So we'll take all the gap we can get as we head to that final race. For now, let's head through our final few screens. I'm particularly interested to see how driver morale is on car number 2, because it has been very low. This ought to do wonderful things for it. Okay, driver morale is still very high on car number 1. Sophia is very quickly running herself out of the number 1 driver slot. She's just not cutting it right now. Okay, but we came in first, and unfortunately, I mean, this, you would think a 1-2 finish would get you more than this on marketability. All right, let's see where driver morale goes now. So we get a huge increase here, but a very small increase here, comparatively speaking. You would think it would go a long way on this, but unfortunately, it did not. So we'll see what happens with this particular driver in the future. But for now, we lose only $690,000. That is more than what we would prefer to have lost, but keep in mind, we didn't get the qualifying bonus. So that's why it's a little bit higher than what we've been seeing. All right, final couple of screens, and we're back to the main menu. So, wow, what a turn of events, and I am extremely happy to say that we brought home that 1-2 finish and swept the top of the podium. So, great finish. Thank you very much for joining me, and stay tuned next time where we'll head to the season finale in Vancouver.